Hello. I told a friend not long ago after the post was made about making candles, emergency candles using tin cans, that I had done one with a beer can, pop can, whatever kind of can you want to call it, and I promised I'd make a video and show it, so here it is. We're going to make a lantern that will burn oil, just any kind of low volatile fuel, with a simple can and a wick, and this happens to be the only can I've got. It looks like adult flavored, you know, fruit drinks. So I'll get started. I'm going to zoom down on the table so you can see what I'm doing. And yes, it's quite windy out here, so it might get interesting. It might turn into a comedy of errors, but we'll be back in a minute. What you're going to need to make this particular lamp, obviously you're going to need a can, a pocket knife, cutting implement of some kind, something to make a wick out of. You know, it could be a little big piece of cotton thread if you've got a cotton rope, or wadded up something, or wadded up napkin from your nearest local fast food joint. Then you are going to need some kind of fuel. And I'm not going to use all our olive oil to make this lamp because, well, we don't have any extra on board. But you can use cooking oil. You can use other fuels, I will say. I have done this and used kerosene. Just something that is not a real high volatile, meaning a lot of vapor kind of fuel. So let's get down to it. Let me anchor some things down so the wind doesn't take it away from me. What we're going to do is, with our cutting implement, cut a half circle that's approximately the width of the can. But before we do that, I want to take a little awl, a nail, something that's pointy, and make a hole kind of where I'm going to make the center of my half circle. I don't know what to call it. I'll make up a name. Center of the folded shelf. I don't know. But we're going to make a hole, and I'm trying to make this one just a little bit larger because I'm going to wad up that paper towel in a minute. Shove it in there. There we go. There's our hole. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this can so that this ends up in the middle. We're going to start a little bit below the hole, and I'm going to try to mark the line. I didn't grab a pen or something, and I guess I should have. So I'll just scratch it out here. But as you can see, I'm making a semicircle from about the side of the can, below that hole, up to about the middle of the can. Alright, it doesn't have to be precise, doesn't have to be exact, but what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out, and I like to start at the top so I stay centered up where my hole is. And again, you know, you probably ought to have on some gloves, safety first. I think I hear snickering in the background here. And then you're going to take your cutting implement and you're just going to kind of cut that half circle down the can, just like that. Again, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is an imperfect world, and if you're making one of these for your primary light source, you're way behind on the power curve already. I wouldn't worry about perfection. Now that I've cut this sort of half moon in the can like that, big Vanna white wave, what I'm going to do, tuck my can under my arm so the wind doesn't take it. So I'm going to take some of this paper towel and or napkin, and I'm basically going to fold it like that in quarters and get a corner, and then kind of start twisting it. I want to end up with a point that I can poke through that hole, basically. And it really doesn't matter how much you leave down here. I'm going to go ahead and tear a bunch of mine off because I'm not going to use up a bunch of oil, but you'll get to see the process. Get that twisted up tight. Now what you do is you want to start this wick on the inside where your little fold's at, so you can pull it through. And that's going to mean, whoop, being careful not to tear your can. That's going to mean maybe poking down, lifting up a bit, and then poking it through the hole. And of course, this is a good trial and testimony whenever you're trying to do this on video. It's not going to work the way you want. But that's okay. I think I've got this now. To make it easier to pull your wick through the hole, you can thread a little piece of string, wire, something to hook your wick through, just like this. Or for that matter, you could sit here and poke. If you're using like a cotton cord, you could sit here and poke the cord in from the front side. Just keep pushing in, pushing in, pushing in until you get, you know, a good quantity inside that's going to soak up the oil. Now you see all I did was I hooked it and pulled it through. The reason you do this with the napkins is you got to let all of this soak up the oil inside. And let's see, poke that in there. It really isn't as hard as it looks. It's making a video makes it interesting. Now I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this thing to light and burn in this wind, but the idea, you're getting the concept of the thing. I'm going to go ahead and put some oil on this napkin. I've already said I'm not going to use up all my cooking oil because I'm hungry. I'm always hungry. I'm as bad as my dog. And I'm going to put a little on the wick to simulate it being soaked up. Now, what you're going to do is where you cut your half moon out, all you're going to do is push on that and fold that in along with your paper towel under it. Just keep folding it in. And I've already distorted this can pretty bad, but normally when you fold it, it'll make a nice little edge across here, but that doesn't hurt anything. And then of course there's your wick right there. The other beauty of using cans is you got a neat little holder on top. You tie a little piece of string on there to hold it or whatever. I'm going to try and light this. I don't know if the wind will cooperate. Because it's a can, you can turn it against the wind so that it will burn usually when there's mild wind. We've got all kinds of wind out here today. So it creates not only a way of keeping the wind out of your flame. Did that go out? No, it's still burning. Awesome. It also creates kind of a directional thing. So if you want to focus your light so you can read, or maybe you want to turn your light away so that you're not visible from another direction. But at any rate, there it is. And the wind's probably going to win this one. It's still actually burning. Now it's burning the oil in the napkin, if you can tell by now. I'm looking down in there and the wind's about got it. So that's how you do it. It takes a can, a napkin, a cutting implement, and some kind of oil. And again, when you do this on a larger can particularly, it doesn't distort and get all funky looking. But I've made these with my circle halfway up a regular 12-ounce can, and when you put oil in the bottom and you've got enough wick in there to soak the oil up, these things will burn for a couple of hours before it gets to where it's burning the wick instead of the oil. So there you go. A shout out to Bombproof Bushcraft. There's the popcan oil lamp.